The movie kicks off in a quiet little cafe somewhere far from the city, kind of tucked away in the middle of the woods. It looks peaceful from the outside, but that calm doesn't last long. Inside, a woman named Mallory Kane is sitting by herself, quietly sipping her drink. She doesn't seem like much at first glance. Calm, collected, almost too quiet. But if you really looked at her, you'd notice something intense in her eyes, like she's been through more than most people could handle. After a while, a guy named Aaron walks in. He spots Mallory and walks straight to her table. Their exchange starts off calm. Aaron tells her she needs to come with him, insisting it's better if she just goes quietly. But Mallory refuses flat out. She doesn't even raise her voice. She just says, "I'm not going anywhere with you." That's when things turn violent. Without warning, Aaron lunges at her and tries to drag her out by force. Now, this isn't your average scuffle. Aaron clearly knows how to fight, but Mallory isn't the type to back down either. They start throwing punches right there in the cafe, shocking everyone inside. Aaron's got the upper hand for a bit, pinning her down and landing a few hits, but Mallory quickly regains control. A couple of bystanders rush to break it up. One man grabs Aaron, trying to hold him back. That's all the time Mallory needs. She jumps to her feet, grabs whatever's near her, and goes at Aaron like a storm. Within seconds, she's got him down and bleeding. She hits hard, bone-snapping hard, until he's barely conscious. When the fight's over, everyone in the cafe is frozen in shock, staring at this small woman who just took down a man twice her size. Then, among the crowd, a young guy named Scott steps up. He seems to realize Mallory's in serious trouble, so he helps her get out of there fast. They rush out, jump into his car, and speed away down the snowy road. As they drive off, Scott keeps glancing at her, obviously confused. He asks, "What the hell just happened back there? Who was that guy? Why was he trying to kill you?" Mallory stays silent for a bit before finally deciding to tell him the truth, or at least part of it. She explains that she works for a private security contractor, a kind of secret organization that operates in the shadows. They take on classified government jobs, but the key thing is these missions are the kind the government can't be publicly linked to. So whenever there's dirty work that can't go on the record, her organization is the one that gets called. Then, the story jumps into a flashback, showing how she got into this mess. We see Mallory's boss, a serious man named Kenneth, sitting across from two government officials, Alex Koblenz and Rodrigo. They're discussing a mission. Apparently, there's a journalist in Barcelona named Jiang who's gotten his hands on some very sensitive information. The mission: extract him and bring him safely back. Kenneth agrees and starts assembling a small team for the job. The team leader is Aaron, the same guy who just attacked her in the cafe. And of course, Mallory is part of the team too. They head to Barcelona together. Once there, they find out that Jiang has been kidnapped and is being held somewhere in the city. The team spreads out to search for him, combing through leads and contacts. Eventually, Mallory gets a solid lead. Jiang is being kept in a rundown motel on the outskirts of town. She heads there alone, sneaks in quietly, and manages to find him tied up in a room. She cuts him loose and leads him out, but just as they step outside, bullets start flying. Someone's waiting for them. Mallory spots the shooter, a lone gunman, and instantly goes into pursuit mode. She doesn't hesitate. She chases him through narrow alleys, across rooftops, until she finally catches up and takes him down in a brutal hand-to-hand fight. Once she's done, she and the rest of the team deliver Jiang safely to their superiors. Mission accomplished. Later that night, back home, Aaron shows up unannounced. He questions her about what happened. "Why did you chase that guy?" he asks. "We already had Jiang. That wasn't part of the mission." Mallory simply replies that she doesn't like leaving loose ends. "I don't leave evidence behind," she says coldly. It's clear she lives by her own rules. Aaron then asks what's really going on with her, what she wants out of all this. That's when she tells him she's done. She's quitting the organization. She's tired of the lies, the danger, the constant manipulation. She wants her life back. And with that, she walks away from that world. Time passes. Mallory's now in San Diego, trying to live a quiet, normal life for once. One evening, as she steps out of the shower, the doorbell rings. She instantly tenses up, old instincts kicking in. Peeking through the peephole, she sees Kenneth, her old boss. She reluctantly lets him in. Their conversation starts off civil, but there's clear tension between them. It turns out they used to be more than colleagues. They had a romantic past, one that didn't end well. Since she quit, they haven't spoken at all. Kenneth gets straight to the point. There's a new mission, he says, a dangerous one, and he wants her to take it. Mallory immediately refuses. She says she's left that life behind for good, that she's finally found peace. But Kenneth presses on, telling her this mission comes directly from MI6, and he needs someone he can trust completely. He insists she's the only one capable of pulling it off. After some hesitation, Mallory gives in. She asks what the job involves. Kenneth explains that an MI6 agent named Paul has located a man called Studer, who's been on a run for a while. Paul is supposed to meet Studer and set up a deal, but they need backup, and that's where Mallory comes in. Her cover will be Paul's wife. Mallory laughs in disbelief. You really think anyone's going to buy me as someone's wife? I break people's arms for a living. Kenneth chuckles and tells her she'll do fine, handing her a piece of jewelry that she's supposed to wear. It'll serve as a signal for Paul to recognize her. She finally agrees and heads to Dublin to meet Paul. When she arrives, she spots him easily. He recognizes her too when he sees the jewelry. They play their roles, pretending to be a married couple. Everything seems fine, but Mallory doesn't trust anyone, not even her supposed partner. While Paul is in the shower, she secretly checks his stuff and plants a tracker on her phone, just in case. Paul, as it turns out, does the same thing. While she's in the bathroom later, he searches through her things and pockets the same jewelry Kenneth gave her. Clearly, neither of them is as trusting as they pretend to be. That evening, they head to an upscale party where they're supposed to meet Studer. While mingling, Mallory notices a man watching her closely, clearly recognizing her from somewhere. She keeps her cool, but her mind is racing. Then Studer finally appears. He greets them politely and talks business for a while before inviting them to join him on a short getaway. As soon as Studer leaves, Paul tells Mallory to tail the man who recognized her while he follows Studer. She agrees, but grows suspicious. Something about Paul's behavior feels off. When she glances across the room later, she spots Paul and Studer together, talking in a corner like they're making a secret deal. Her gut tells her something's very wrong. Still, she keeps following the man until she ends up in a quiet room. What she finds there makes her blood run cold, a dead body lying on the floor. When she looks closely, she realizes it's Jiang, the same journalist she rescued in Barcelona. She's stunned. How could he be here? And then the horrible truth hits her. He's been murdered. It's been staged to frame her. She notices the same piece of jewelry Kenneth gave her on Jiang's wrist, the one she'd been told to wear. That's when it all clicks. The cameras at the airport would have caught her wearing it when she arrived in Dublin. Now, with Jiang dead and the jewelry linking her to the scene, it's going to look like she killed him. She's being set up, and the people behind it are the ones she trusted. Furious but calm on the surface, Mallory takes back the jewelry, hides her emotions, and returns to the hotel like nothing happened. Paul, however, can sense that something's off. As soon as they're in the room, he attacks. He's strong, but Mallory is stronger. The fight is brutal. Furniture breaks, blood spills, but eventually, Mallory turns the tables and kills him. Afterward, she sits in silence, piecing everything together. She realizes Paul couldn't have orchestrated all this alone. There's a whole network behind it, and Kenneth is definitely involved. To confirm her suspicion, she grabs Paul's phone and calls Kenneth. The moment he answers, she can tell from his tone that he's been waiting for this call. She doesn't even need him to confess. She already knows. He's the one who planned everything. From the moment she quit, Kenneth saw her as a liability. She knew too much about the agency's illegal operations. If another department ever interrogated her, their secrets would spill. So, they decided to eliminate her. Now, she's on the run. She throws on a cap, blends into the crowd, and calls her father. She doesn't say much, just that she'll be home late. It's code, something her father understands instantly. It means she's in danger. Mallory starts moving fast, aware that every second counts. But soon, she notices she's being followed. Several people, all moving with precision, professionals. She realizes they must have been tracking her through something. When she checked her bag, she finds the tracker hidden inside. Paul must have planted it before dying. She ditches the bag, ducks into a shop, and slips out through the back door, trying to lose them. Then she spots police cars pulling up. Great. Now, they've turned the authorities against her too. She sprints down narrow streets, jumps fences, and climbs rooftops. When she leaps from one building to another, she lands hard, twisting her ankle, but keeps moving. After what feels like forever, she finally loses them, at least for the moment. Catching her breath, she makes a call to Rodrigo, one of the government officers she once worked with. She demands answers. I gave you Jiang, she says. You were supposed to protect him. Now he's dead, and someone's framing me for it. What the hell is going on? Rodrigo listens in silence, then abruptly hangs up. Moments later, Rodrigo calls Alex, telling him that Mallory just reached out and that things are spiraling out of control. Alex tells him to stay quiet and wait. She'll come to him eventually. Then Alex himself calls Mallory. Calmly, he introduces himself and says, "I know everything that happened. I know about Jiang. I know Kenneth betrayed you. And now, he's coming for you. I've been suspicious of him for a while. Felt like he was mixed up with other people and cooking something big. I told Alex the same thing. Only you can blow this wide open. Do what you do best," he said. So Alex set up a meeting. The plan was simple. Meet Kenneth somewhere public, try to get him to slip up, get whatever dirt we could. He picked the little cafe in the woods, the same quiet spot where things later go off the rails. But the plan didn't go as folded. Kenneth didn't show up. Instead, Aaron walked in. That changed everything. The moment Aaron sat down, the room turned into a battlefield. Words flicked into punches. Chairs scraped. People screamed. Before anyone could make sense of it, Mallory was in the middle of a fight that nobody expected. The way she moved was brutal and fast. Not like a civilian, not like someone who could be reasoned with. Aaron tried to take her down, but she answered harder. It ended with Aaron on the floor and Mallory walking out with Scott, who had been watching the chaos and jumped in to help. Scott's face went pale when the truth dropped, when Mallory told him who she was and what had just happened. He never asked for any of this. He kept repeating, "I'm just a regular guy. How'd I end up in the middle of your war?" Mallory tried to soothe him. "Breathe. Sit tight. I'll get us through this." She didn't have time for long explanations. They climbed into Scott's car and drove off, but the city wasn't going to let them leave so easy. Ahead, police had blocked the road, checking cars one by one. Mallory tried to drive past, keep it low, but the officers flagged them down. Tension rose. The police radio crackled, and things moved fast. When Scott gunned the engine and tried to break through, the cops gave chase. They raced into the snow-dusted wilderness, tires screeching through ice and mud. For a while it looked like they might shake the tail, but nature intervened. A deer burst onto the road, right into their path. Scott swerved to avoid the animal and lost control. The car slammed into a tree. Everything went silent for a breath. The engine coughed and died. They were trapped. The police were already on them. Hands grabbed and dragged. No mercy. Scott and Mallory were shoved into the back of a squad car. While they sat there, handcuffed and cold, the radio announced something that made Mallory's blood run cold. The FBI was en route and will be taking custody. She knew that wasn't true. She could tell by the tone, by the cadence. These weren't federal guys. They were the people who'd been hunting her. Her voice kept calm though. "Don't believe them. Those aren't real FBI. If you go with them, it's over." The cops didn't listen. They drove to a clearing, a dead-end place where the woods pressed in. And then it happened exactly like Mallory had feared. A convoy showed up. Men spilled out with guns and masks. The police dropped their badges for rifles. Bullets began to fly like rain. The men in masks opened up on the officers who were with Mallory. It was messy and brutal and heavy with smoke. Once the immediate threat was handled, that is, once the masked attackers were all down, she climbed into the nearest police car with Scott still injured inside. They fled the scene. Scott was a wreck. He kept whispering, "I don't want to die." Mallory tightened her jaw and promised him she'd get him out. Meanwhile, back in the safe rooms where the higher-ups hide, things are going off the rails. Alex stormed into Kenneth's place furious. "You told me you'd handle this," Alex said, voice low and dangerous. "I set that meeting with Kenneth so Mallory would come. Why did you send Aaron? Now she'll never trust any of us. You wrecked the only angle we had." They were out of options and tempers flared. Alex was already thinking 2 moves ahead. They'd use Mallory's father. That was the new plan. Go to him, tell him his daughter was a traitor and a fugitive, make him believe they were the only ones telling the truth. Then when Mallory ran to her father, characteristically, they'd trap her, use him as bait. A nasty, effective plan. Mallory, not willing to be steamrolled, went straight to her father's house. She told him everything, exactly what had happened, and why she'd come running to him. "They'll come here," she warned him. "They'll spin lies. Don't play their game. Pretend you don't know me if they come. Act like you've never seen me. Follow their story when they push you, so they won't suspect you." Her thinking was cold and tactical. She wanted him to be ready. She warned him about Aaron too, that he was an agent and probably didn't know the whole truth. "Be kind to him," she said. "Make him think I'm a liar. He might figure out someday and help us." Night fell. Kenneth showed up at the father's place with Aaron trailing behind, wrapped in that soldier's certainty. Kenneth painted the story he needed. Mallory had double-crossed them, killed an MI6 agent in Dublin, murdered police officers, and taken an innocent kid hostage to hide behind. Aaron, hearing this, felt a strange prick of doubt. The kid, Scott, was with Mallory, but he hadn't been taken. Mallory had brought him to keep him safe. Aaron started seeing cracks in the narrative. Mallory's father stood his ground. My daughter would never slaughter cops. She called me from Barcelona and told me things were wrong. The old man's voice held a confidence Kenneth didn't expect to hear. Mallory called Kenneth's phone while they were there and demanded answers. Why are you setting me up? What's your deal with this tutor? Why is Jiang dead? The call lit a fuse. Aaron, who still wanted to do the right thing, tracked the phone and confirmed Mallory's location. That sent Kenneth into action. He ordered every man he had to sweep the area and find Mallory. In the house, Mallory cut the power to keep things dark and noisy, to use confusion to her advantage. Aaron wasn't sure anymore who he should follow. Mallory sent a photo of Jiang to Aaron's phone. The image hit him like ice. Rage and betrayal fought inside Aaron. He'd been told lies. That was the point where the tension broke into violence. Aaron stormed at Kenneth, furious and betrayed. Kenneth, always composed until pushed, pulled a gun. It was fast and ugly. Kenneth shot Aaron. Everything in that house erupted. Mallory fought every man Kenneth had sent. Amid the chaos, Aaron lay bleeding, dying. He croaked out a confession, or maybe it was just an apology. Forgive me, he whispered to Mallory. They told me you were a liar and a traitor. That's why I came after you. His final words were a raw kind of regret. He died wanting something different. Mallory stood there, the memory of softer times slicing at her. She and Aaron had been close once. Lovers maybe, partners in ways that didn't involve bullets. Losing him hit hard. She felt the loss like a cold, empty ache. After the dust settled, Mallory walked into Alex's office and told him what Kenneth had done. He'd broken Aaron in front of her, shot him, and let the whole thing spin into chaos. Alex listened and then, in a way that was both honest and cold, told Mallory she had to clean it up. Kenneth isn't following anyone's orders anymore, Alex said. He's gone rogue. He's not playing for us. Then he made her an offer and a demand at once. Scott had been arrested in the chaos, and Alex had sorted it out. He had released the kid and given him a car to get away. He handed Mallory Kenneth's address and looked at her like he was handing her a job ticket. Go kill him, he said bluntly. And then, I want you working for me. Mallory didn't promise loyalty. She didn't promise anything except that she'd deal with Kenneth. She said she couldn't guarantee working for Alex, but she would take care of Kenneth. So she went. She tracked him down, found him, and then the two of them started fighting like two animals with everything to lose. The scrap was long and ugly. Kenneth fought dirty, using tricks and knives and men who'd follow him anywhere. Mallory fought like a woman who had learned the hard way how to survive. At one point, she pinned him down and smashed him so he could barely move. He lay there broken and bleeding, and for a moment he talked. Kenneth spilled everything like someone unburdening himself because he knew the end was near. He told Mallory how the whole plan had been hatched. There was a businessman named Tudor whose shady deals were about to be publicized in a report Jiang was working on. Tudor didn't want that. Rodrigo, the same Rodrigo who'd been part of the government side, had gone to Tudor with a deal. Tudor would get rid of the reporter if Rodrigo gave him a way to make it look like an accident or self-defense. Kenneth, in charge of a private security agency, was the man who could make that happen. He had Mallory on his roster, the best of the best. She completed most missions without question. She was the perfect tool. Kenneth claimed they planned to send her to Barcelona to rescue Jiang, and at the moment of rescue, someone would shoot Jiang and the evidence would point to Mallory. In return, Tudor got his quiet life, and Kenneth got to keep running his operation. Kenneth named Paul, an ex-MI6 operative, as the man who'd been asked to carry out the dirty deed. Paul agreed because it suited him. Kenneth said this all so plainly, like cold mechanics of a machine. His tone absolved him and blamed everyone else. He insisted if Mallory hadn't quit, none of this would have happened. If she had stayed, he said, they'd all been in control. Mallory looked at him and promised he wouldn't get a clean death. She told him he'd suffer over and over, his limbs broken, his breath taken over and over again in his mind. Then she left him to that fate. Kenneth died in pain, and Mallory left his broken body behind. But she wasn't finished. Rodrigo, the man who'd made the deal with Tudor, was next. He'd retreated to a vacation home, secure and comfortable, thinking the threat was gone. He didn't know Mallory was still alive and that she'd found the trail that led back to him. Mallory found his hideout, walked up to the place where he was trying to enjoy a holiday, and ended it. She finished Rodrigo the same way she finished everyone else who had been part of the web. One by one, the people who thought they could crush her and walk away were being collected and accounted for. When the last man fell, the story closed with Mallory standing where the lies had started and cleaned the slate in the only language these men understood. The people who had been using her as a tool were gone. The ones who had thought they could bury the truth were gone. Mallory had made sure everyone who threatened her was dealt with. That's how the movie wraps up. Not with a courtroom or a confession, just with her moving on after she forced the truth out with her own hands.